All right, guys, good morning. Yes, it is Friday, and I'm here, and it's cold. And that's okay. So before I start my lesson on dividing integers, negative integers, I wanted to do a quick review on adding and subtracting because we're still struggling. And my real emphasis here is slow down and think. Think about it. Reason through it. If you reason, you're going to understand it. And if you understand it, your brain will actually put it in a place where you can go back to it. And as you come to more complex problems, you'll actually have something in there, an understanding somewhere that you can draw upon that keeps deepening your understanding. All right, copy these, solve them, pause. All right, you did it. Nice. Lee, done. So my question is, are these the same? Think about that. Are they? Well, let's take a look at the number line. And here's where you got to, reason helps. Here's 0. Here's negative 8, right? What does this say to do? It says subtract 9, so you're going to go to the left further down, right? And some of you guys look at this and you're like, I don't know what to do. Well, this is why we think about it. Negative 8, and it says add, and usually if you're adding, if you were that, not usually, but if you added a positive number, you would go right, you would increase in value. But we're adding a negative, so we got to go that way, down, left, and guess what? Same answer, negative 17. So yeah, they are the same. These are the same thing. Look at this one. What? Are these the same? Now a lot of you guys are saying yes, because you're going too fast. We know that subtracting a negative is addition. Some of you guys keep saying it's a positive. No, it's addition. So 11 plus 13 is 24. And then you come here and you're like, subtract the negative. Oh. And you do this. And you're like, and I'm like, where's Waldo? Guys, you can't forget that negative. You can't forget that negative. You see the difference? It's still there. Subtracting a negative is addition. Okay? This guy is not affected. That's not even the best way of saying it, but don't forget my little buddy out here. So this is actually 2. So you got to be really careful. Here, look at these. I get kids, I think you're getting like dizzy, because because there's just a lot of goodies happening here. You got to be careful. Let's reason through this. Are these the same? No. Here we're combining negatives, so it's negative 28. Here we have a negative and a positive. Here's how I like to even think about this. Here's 0. I'm at like negative 20. And if I add 8 to it, I'm not going to even get to 0. So really you're finding the difference. And it is negative 12. All right? We're going to keep working on that, guys, until we all get it. Because everyone needs to get it. And I'm going to keep spending time there. All right, division. Well, dividing integers very similar to multiplying with integers, which I guess makes sense because they are the inverse of each other. But let's think. So you guys are very used to seeing this. 20 divided by 4. You see it like this. 20 divided by 4. And now more and more as we move towards algebra, you're going to see expressed like this as a fraction. And actually you're used to that because that's actually an improper fraction. That would be how most of you are used to that. And this is a form of division, okay? And then, now I can't remember the other one. Yeah, I'm good there. And so here, especially in your homework, you're going to see it that way. And that literally means 20 divided by 4. But let's think about this. We know, let's take 12 divided by 4. What is that? Well, that means that we have 12 units. 12. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10. Here's my 12 units, right? And what does this say? It says to divide it into 4 equal groups. I can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 equal groups, 4 equal partitions. And the quotient or the answer is 3. What is it? Each one 3 or 3 units. Does that make sense? Now this is kind of it's very important because 3 units, whatever my, think about that. Yeah, 3 units. All right. Well, what if we make 12 negative? Well, now I have 12 negative units. See that? I can divide into 4 equal groups. Well, what's inside each one? 3, what? 3 negative units. You guys see that? I could think of it like this. Mr. Toth has $12 of debt. All right? So I'm going to turn these into dollar bills. Should you copy this? Absolutely. All right, look at all my debt. Here's all my debt. There's $12 of debt. And my 4 buddies of mine come up to me and say, Mr. David Toth, we want to take your debt. It's Jubilee, and we're going to take your debt and divide it between us. And so each of my buddies takes it, and guess how much debt each buddy takes on? $3. That would be a very simple application. In fact, that is so easy, I'm not going to really spend much time on this one. Is it easy? I guess it's, well, what are you guys noticing? What is the light bulb here? Here's my light bulb. Well, isn't this the same rule as multiplication? Yeah. If you have one negative when you divide, the answer is negative. If you have one negative when you multiply, the answer or product is negative. All right. Well, nice. Or nicely, I don't know. So let's think about then, what if there is a negative divided by a negative? Well, did I say that right? Yes, I did say that right. So I'm going to look at my book because this kind of twists your brain. Yes. So let's think of it this way. If 4 times 5 is 20, right? We know that. Well, let's take its fact family. 20 divided by 4 is what? Boys? Yeah, that's right. 5. Is that true? Yes. So now let's take this. Well, what is negative 4 times 5? Well, you guys know that, right? One negative, it makes the answer negative. Now, do you see where I'm going with this? See, this one's a fact family. And so 4 times 5 is 20. Therefore, 20 divided by 4 is 5. All right, so let's take negative 20 and divide it by negative 4. And what are you going to get? What will you get? You're going to get 5. Right? What are you going to get? So see how I used a pattern here? And you know what, to be honest with you, another way, some of you guys are like, well, shouldn't it be negative? Well, we know that if negative 20 divided by 4 is actually negative 5, so it can't be that 2 negatives would give you a negative, because when there's 1 negative divided by a positive, you get a negative. That was a mouthful. All right? So that can't be. So this is one way of showing using fact families. Another way of doing it is, no, I'm going to stop right there. No, I won't stop right there. I refuse to stop. So here's another way. I'm taking this right off the top of my head right now. And when I do this, sometimes I regret it. But watch this. Here is, watch this, negative 4. Yes, you should copy it. Negative 8. Negative 12. Negative 16. Negative 20. Whoa. How did they get that number? Right? So here it is. Here's negative 20. I feel like I have a boo-boo here. See what happens? It'll work. And watch this. Negative 4. Negative 4. Negative 4. Negative 4. Negative 4. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many of those units are there? 5. Positive 5. Now you're thinking, what's on the negative side? But I'm looking at how many units. So that kind of twists my brain. I'm not even sure if I like that very much. So if you come back and say, Mr. Toth, that was a bad argument, example, that's fine. As long as you can explain it. But what I want to walk away with is here. using a fact family, we can prove that a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So where does that leave us? It leaves me with 5 minutes, but what it also leaves us with these generic rules. That when you multiply or divide, if you multiply or divide, watch this, two negatives, so here's my negatives, you're going to get a positive. If you multiply or divide two negatives, here's my division, you get a positive, right? And if the signs are different, that's a positive, like this, watch this. If the signs are different in multiplication, you get a negative. And if the signs are different in division, you get a negative. All right? Nice. So, let's practice this. Let's go to page, ooh, yikes. All right, let's go to page, where am I? 246. And the first one is negative 16 divided by 2, 42 divided by negative 7, negative 30 divided by negative 5. That's really, I got to work on my neatness. And, all right, so what is? We have one negative here. We're dividing it by a positive, so it's negative 8. 42 divided by negative 7, negative 6. Negative 30 divided by a negative. What's a negative divided by a negative? It is a positive 6. And this is where that term comes from when you get in trouble and your parents are like, two negatives don't make it right. It's because they're talking about like when you're naughty, double naughty, like you lie to get out of something bad. So two naughties, that doesn't make it right. And that's only true in math, okay? And I'm not sure if even a negative in math is necessarily something morally wrong. So that's probably why it breaks down. All right. Too much talking. Number 4. 15 divided by y. X, y, when they're side by side, that's multiplying, divided by negative 10. And x plus y divided by negative 3. Now when we start putting in values for these variables, absolutely do not do it in your head. Well, what does y equal? Y equals negative 5, x equals what? Where are you, x? 8. All right, so rewrite it. See that? I immediately move to this. So negative 3. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. All right, multiply those. Negative 5 times 8 divided by negative 10. All right, negative 40 divided by a negative. What's a negative divided by a negative? A positive 4. And last but not least, 8 plus a negative 5 divided by, what is that? Ooh, oh, was that inside a parenthesis? Ooh, I almost messed it up. Negative 3. So we do this first. So what's that? 3 divided by a negative 3? Or I could write it like this. 3 divided by negative 3. And that is negative 1. Guys, practice, 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 and more practice. Closing thoughts, Mr. Toth, because I don't want to finish too early. I guess really closing thoughts is this. This is where kids, if they don't understand it very well and they go too fast, they start doing stuff like this. Negative 4 minus negative 7, stuff like negative 8 times negative 9. They start messing up these concepts, right? And they're like, 2 negatives positive. No. When you multiply 2 negatives or you divide 2 negatives, it's a positive answer. But guys, just because you see 2 negatives in a problem that's addition or subtraction, it doesn't mean positive. So you really need to be careful. You really got to think it through, because this is actually negative 11. So please be careful, be thoughtful, enjoy your weekend.